it seems that the first question one might ask is, what is King Roger looking for? What is he searching for in life? And I would have to answer, without trying to dodge the question, that in fact, that question is the opera. That we encounter characters who desire and feel like they're searching for things, but we never really get to know what those things are. They are not traditionally rewarded with having their dreams fulfilled. The act of dreaming, the act of wanting, the act of desiring, and the search is what all of these characters are about.
King Roger is a deeply spiritual opera. And when audiences come into this space, they're going to go on a pretty shocking spiritual journey. And so when the piece begins and when an audience comes in, the blank will be sort of treated like church. And so we are going to have this opulent, luxurious court chapel, which is based on a real church in Sicily, which is really quite fantastic to look at. And I think that Szymanowski visited that church, and that's kind of what gave him the idea to write this opera in the first place.
I like that lighting. Even if the audience isn't 100% aware of it, that it is sort of having a psychological effect on how you are viewing the characters on stage or the world that they're existing in. And so you can kind of guide the audience to feel a certain way, whether that's like cheerful or happy or a little disturbed or upset or unsettled by what's happening. There's so many ways that we can kind of help with that. We can help control, what we're seeing or what we're not seeing. We can help control sort of the color world that we're existing in. That's going to convey all kinds of things, as far as like what time of day it is, but also like what the character's inner, environment is as well. So I love the fact that lighting is able to sort of both be part of the storytelling of the physical world, but also really be a lot of the storytelling of the emotional world.
The DMMO stage is peculiar. It's unlike any I've ever visited. Of course, there's, the fan-like kind of amphitheater of audience, which is wonderful, but also there's a big hole in the middle of the stage where they put the musicians. And I was intimidated by it at first, but I've come to find it to be very inspiring, actually. I became kind of hypnotized by this space. It's almost like an altar to music. And that's actually how this production begins, is with an altar kind of arranged around the pit, as if it's kind of part of a court mass.
Yeah, lighting is interesting in this space because it really is unique to have the audience members literally be, some of them are not even 5 feet away from where singers are going to be. And so they have a really immersive interaction, I think, with the space. And lighting is... it's both exciting and challenging because there's not the same degree of separation between, the audience out in the auditorium and then being out in the, being on the stage. So there really is a sense of sometimes you do feel like you're in the middle of it.
The audience is both literally and figuratively closer to the lives of these people. So as much as there is grandeur in royalty, Roger isn't more a king than he is a human being, a man who's searching and suffering and trying. This is not an opera about answers, it's much more about questions.